Good evening, Justice Warriors. What up? How's my lighting? Is it like too orange? I can fix that. Let's see. Live chat. Let's see. What do I want to do to the lighting to make it better? How do I want to? Let's see. This side is a little bit lighter than the other side, I think. I don't know. I can move some of these. Move some of those. Is that better? Put one of those out there. Is it a little bit better? I think it might be. Um, so I'm going to give folks a minute to find the live. I'll text my friends. My apologies for not being on for a couple of days. I did do a couple of non-lives the day before yesterday, which I hardly ever do that anymore. And I'm thinking that I should do that more. What happened? What light just went out? Did you see that? Did it come back on? Okay. I'm on. See if folks are busy or if they want to come in and hang. Oh, there's so much to talk about. I just don't even know where to begin. I'll give you a quick thumbnail of the things that I want to discuss other than the freaking pond scum. President Pond Scum. Like, that's a good handle, don't you think? And I think that I was thinking today, like, what kind of critters can they release into the pond to eat all the scum? Like, you would think that that would be a good solution, right? And immediately I thought of President Pond Scum himself and his right-hand man, Stephen Miller. I could just see them like squirming around in the freaking reflection pond, eating up all the algae. Let's see. So the good news, what's the good news? It was like 100 degrees here today. And I went for a swim for the first time in a long time, and I loved it. It was really fun. It was just lovely. And then the terrible weather didn't feel so terrible. Funny how that happens, huh? So I want to talk about Becca Day, a video that she just dropped. She does a really good job outlining some of the suspicious passings away that I often mention, like RFK Jr.'s previous wife, the one that he was married to when he was living with his current wife, that one. Mary Richardson Kennedy. And that was back in 2012. And of course, Ivana. And she brings to attention a couple of Alan Dershowitz, one that was his ex-wife and one that was his brother's wife, her sister, actually. So his sister, his wife's sister by blood married his brother, but both his wife and the sister both no more. Is that my hair or is that like something on the Liberty Bell behind me? I think it was the Liberty Bell behind me. So I want to talk about the two non-lives that I did. One was about Charlie Kirk and some of the most major clues in what makes his passing away extremely suspicious, in case anybody isn't convinced. Not that I'm trying to convince anybody of anything, but these things are convincing in and of themselves. I also made a separate video about Gabby Petito and her situation in that, what was it, a Fairfield Inn? I think it was either a Holiday Inn Express or Fairfield Inn, I believe. Holiday Inn Express was the place that Barry Morphew stayed at right after he did his evil deeds, allegedly. Everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of hoping to start a conversation, open up a discussion, learn something, be educational. All my videos are made for the tube of you, and it's an infotainment platform. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is the things that Todd Blanche, our Attorney General, has admitted to, but yet he admits that he or the FBI redacted the killings, the grapes, the torture, and the violent images from the Trumpstein files. That's told by Todd Blanche himself, that the FBI redacted. Should I say that again? The killings, the grapes, the tortures, and other violent images were removed from the files, the half that have been released. So if you've got images of these illegal activities, where are the criminal investigations? Where are the arrests? Where are the charges? The math ain't mathin', people. That's crazy. So let's see. I also wanted to talk about Natalie Harp, the human printer. I don't like that moniker for her. I think hospice nurse is a little bit nicer. I mean, human printer really dehumanizes her, which is what this administration does with everybody, but especially women. Natalie Harp, her father died in 2020, right before she was campaigning with Dear Leader. And her brother, Preston Harp, you've probably heard by now that he's made his own videos talking about the estrangement that he has from Natalie, and then him learning about her being so close to President Scum. And he explains in his video, I'll put a link to it in the description, that the kids were homeschooled, him and his sister. I don't remember if there was other siblings. I think it's just the two of them. But that the mother was extremely conservative and maybe the father not so much. I don't know. But when he passed away in 2020, right before Natalie started going and speaking at rallies with President Scum, the mom and the sister wanted to tell the story about him passing away at age 61 or 63, maybe, and he was a doctor, that he passed away in his sleep unexpectedly, when Preston says that it was self-inflicted, that's what the autopsy said. It was self-inflicted, that it was a self-deletion. And I'm just wondering what the real story is there. I'm wondering if it gets even wonkier than that. But what's sad is that Preston didn't want to lie to anybody, so he told extended family the truth, that the autopsy said that it was self-inflicted. And then his mother and his sister quit talking to him. So he hasn't spoken with them, I don't think, since. And yeah, so nobody's here. Let me do my thing with the thumb. Hit your like button if you'd be so kind. If you don't mind, if it's not asking too much, make sure you're still subscribed if you are subscribed. And if you're not, please consider it. Share a video of mine with somebody that you think might like my channel, especially if you have a minute and are interested in checking out the regular videos that I dropped the day before yesterday. They're roughly 15, 20 minutes long. The one about Charlie Kirk and the one about Gabby Petito. And I filmed them in my car when it was blistering hot, but not as hot as it was today or even yesterday. It was hot, but I was okay until the end when I was kind of overheating. But I was in the shade and I had the windows cracked. And you can hear the birds in the background. And I'm like in the middle of like Stepford Wivesville, otherwise known as New Albany, where Les Wexner pretty much owns the entire town. He's really turned it into a Stepford Wives kind of place. And my apologies again with the cleavage. I pinned it and everything was fine. But then, see, I guess I'm kind of leaning forward too when I'm on my videos. Maybe I should lean back, and then it's not as dramatic. Okay, so where's my people? If no one's going to come talk to me, I might as well just do pre-recorded and keep it short and sweet. So I've been thinking that I should be doing pre-recordeds where they're short and sweet, because not everybody is into the long lives. It does look like I have a visitor. So if you want to say hi, please do so. And if you don't, that's cool too. Thanks for being here, whether you're on the replay crew or here live. So the Gabby Petito video that I made, it just dawned on me a couple of days ago. Maybe I've thought of it before, but it didn't stick. And this time it kind of stuck. That what if Brian Laundrie never got on an airplane and flew to Florida? The story was that the Tuesday, I think, after the Saturday that those two women were shot and unalived at their campground, Crystal Turner and Kaylin Schulte. That was Saturday at about noon, like 11:30 in the, high noon time. And then Monday or Tuesday, I think it was the 16th, maybe the 17th, that Gabby checked into the hotel room. I think she checked into the hotel room on the 16th, and then he flew out of Salt Lake City, allegedly, to Florida on the 17th by himself for 6 days. The story was that he went to clean out a storage unit, which that wouldn't even take 6 days now, would it? It would take like one. but the story never made sense, because going to clean out the storage unit to save money was the story when you're buying a plane ticket and you're paying for a hotel room. So I'm thinking that that whole story is a crock of crap, because I really think that we would have been shown surveillance tape. Hey, Anna Bees, what's up? So nice to see you, my friend. Have you had a chance to watch the Gabby Petito video that I sent you? I really think that we would see surveillance footage of Brian Laundrie going through the freaking Salt Lake City airport and the Florida airport, like the Tampa or Sarasota, wherever he flew into. Because they always want to show receipts. They always want to prove things. And because we never saw that, because we also never saw footage of Gabby checking into the hotel or checking out of the hotel, which you don't really have to check out of a hotel anymore. You just like leave the key in your room and make sure your bill is paid. But, maybe seeing surveillance footage of her in the lobby or something like that. My guess is that she got beat up really bad by Brian after the incident on the 12th. I think that he then unalived those two women on the 14th, because they had either been one of the parties calling 911, or he suspected that they were one of the parties calling 911. And then there's surveillance footage of them, of Kylan and Crystal, at that bar. Oh, what is that famous bar called? Woody's Tavern. That's right there in Moab, right by the Moonflower where the domestic violence incident happened. So they were hanging out at Woody's bar on Friday, and it was Friday the 13th. I never thought about that. I love Friday the 13th, but not in this case. Also, it's always been alleged that Brian and Gabby were playing pool at that bar when they were there. And, of course, Brian says he doesn't drink, and maybe he doesn't. You don't have to drink to play pool in a bar, do you? I think you're allowed to play pool whether you drink or not. Anna Bees, let me get caught up with you. Hello, Jazz and everyone. I think the storage unit stuff was a lie. It never sat well, but I think the plane ticket was a lie too, because again, they would have showed us a freaking boarding pass if nothing else, right? I think he was there in the hotel possibly, and I don't want to say it, but I'll just say it. I think he might have been pimping her out. And maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Some person commented on your post that Gabby should have been arrested for DV. Well, I'll check that out. I could do it live while we're here. It would have been nice if she was arrested for DV, although no, if they were trained in DV, they would have seen that she had marks on herself too, and they would understand that domestic violence victims almost always try to take the blame, again, because they know that a beating is coming after the interactions with law enforcement. But had they arrested her, the whole story would have had a different ending. That would have put her in a safe place at least. But I agree about Gabby being hidden because she got DV'd. Yeah, I mean, we've seen the pictures of her when she had been domestically violated, when she'd been the victim of domestic violence, and her eyes are swollen, her lips are swollen. I used one of those images in the thumbnail, and it looks like she's recovered from a beating, but she's not as recovered as she thinks she is. And so she's making that video. It's that really odd one where she's in the tent and it's all perfect. Like the blankets are all perfect. The pillow's all perfect. Everything in the tent is absolutely perfect. And then she gets out of the tent and she's like, there's Brian doing morning yoga. And there's just like this tension in the air. Like, it's like she's breaking a fast of interaction. It's a real awkwardness. And it took me a long time before I noticed in that video that her eye and mouth are swollen and red. And then you can't not see it. So you can see it in that thumbnail. And then this is so weird, Anna Bees. Tell me what you think. And it's so nice to see you, friend. One of the photos that I used of Gabby in that thumbnail, she's wearing a Zion National Park sweatshirt. That's the sweatshirt that her remains were found in. That's how they identified her, was that sweatshirt. And there's other pictures of her in a different Zion t-shirt. And this is totally conspiracy theory. I'm not even thinking that this is a thing, but just makes me wonder about all this Zionist stuff going on now. I'm like, how random is that? How weird is that she's the only sweatshirt and t-shirt that has national park stuff that's legible in the photographs are Zion. Very interesting. I hope that isn't true. I know. I don't like to think it about anybody. The thing with being trafficked. Oh, it's so gross. Yes, they weren't very good. It was so sad. And I'm not sure what you're referring to when you say they weren't very good. The dogs were scratching at the door. I'm going to open it real quick. 1 second. Who wants in? Who wants out? Mookie was wanting out and the other dogs are wanting in, but now they're all out. So I'm sure they'll come back and scratch some more. Okay. So I texted you your tracking number from the package that I sent you yesterday. And thank you so much for buying those 2 necklaces. I hope you love them. I hope you absolutely love them. And then you and Trish are twinning on that one necklace that I was able to make adjustments in the one that was similar to make them pretty much the exact same, although the middle pendants are switched. So you got the one that is in the original post. But then I posted more pictures of more jewelry, just for anyone who's interested. And I'm really excited. I do got to say something about the jewelry. TierraCast findings are the best ear wires in the freaking world, and a lot of people probably are not familiar with them. They're very expensive, and they went out of business a couple years ago, and I was devastated. And I looked up last night how to buy TierraCast findings, and I'm going to show you what a TierraCast finding looks like. Let's see if I can show this on the screen. It's just the ear wire. With a dark background, you can kind of see it better. So this is an earring you've seen me wear. It's one of my favorites. But one of the things that I like about it so much is the ear wire. These are the most comfortable and highest quality ear wires I've ever come across in my life, and I've worn thousands of pairs of earrings. So I found out how to buy TierraCast findings, and I couldn't purchase them last night because the website has crashed. So as long as I can get it up and running, this is a different earring that I did not make. It's got a tiger on it, but you can't really see the ear wire because it's dark blue. And let me see if I have something light to show it against. I know I do. What's this? I'll just use my notepad. Okay, this is the ear wire is a dark blue. It's niobium. Titanium, niobium, is the most hypoallergenic metal in the world, more hypoallergenic than gold. I'm sure you're familiar with it, Annabise. It's what's used in any kind of internal surgery. But it gets fired to turn different colors. So I am going to be getting a hold of TierraCast findings and then selling earrings with TierraCast findings. And these I didn't make either, but you can see the TierraCast finding that I put on it. This is a pair of earrings I got recently. Let's see if I can just show it like that. It's nice because it's got it's a gradation of blue, but again, you can't really see the finding because the finding is gray, and so is the slate that I'm showing it on. So I'll stop with the showing of that, but I'll show you the gold one again because that you should be able to see against the slate. There. And then it's cool. It's fun to put like the little beads and coils on them that offset the earring. And it just makes for the most exquisite earring experience imaginable. So, let's see. What say you? You are so talented. Thank you. You're so kind to say that. I love making jewelry, and I forgot how much I love selling it. I mean, not only do you get the reward of some cash, that's always helpful, right? But more importantly, the sort of the adopting out of my little creations and knowing that they're going to a good home where they're going to get the love and attention that they need. That's really cute. Titanium, yes. Niobium, titanium, they're one and the same, right? So I think it's like a dark gray initially, and that's what they use in internal surgeries, like if they're pinning your hip or something like that, putting a pin in your hip. But then they can fire it to turn it like purple or blue, so just with high heat, green, pink. It's like gorgeous, the colors that can be created, and it's still more hypoallergenic than gold itself. It's also incredibly strong, so it's really hard to bend the ear wire. It's what is used on the external of rockets, titanium. So I've never made earrings. I've dabbled in bracelets and necklaces, more handmade, cheap, nothing like what you do. Oh, you are so sweet. You're so kind. I'm sure that with some serious dabbling, you could do some cool stuff. But yeah, it takes a lot of practice. So it's nice to kind of be fluent in it because I've been doing it literally for 50 years. I made my first pair of earrings when I was 8 years old. I'm proud to say it. 8 years old, I made my first pair of earrings, and then I didn't make another pair probably until I was a teenager. And then that's when I started making jewelry professionally with my mother, and we sold at galleries and festivals and boutiques across the country, some very, very posh places. Georgetown Cotton was one of them. The Peabody Museum at Harvard was one of them. Chicago Art Institute. These are kind of my brags. Neiman Marcus. No, not Neiman Marcus. Sorry, Nordstrom. Um, and then a place called Maya in Southern California on Sunset Boulevard, and then Fred Siegel's in Southern California, which is also maybe you've heard of it. And then a famous gallery in Seattle called Fireworks. There were a few that were real feathers in our caps. There was others as well, but anyway, it was a great way to make a living and to pay for my own expenses in college and stuff. And then when I went to graduate school, I quit making jewelry professionally because it was pretty much all consuming. I love it. So since I had children, I've gotten back into jewelry making, but just for myself, and I've been hoarding it all except for the stuff that I've given away on the channel. And so now it feels like a smart thing to sell it so that I can get a little income and spread the love. So thanks for your support, my friend. I really appreciate you and Trish ordering stuff. And it's the most annoying thing about doing the business of jewelry making is not only packaging stuff up, but then having to get it to the post office. And I used to do that all the time, and it was like big wholesale orders. So that was good because once I got them in the mail, then I got paid. And so it wasn't as big of a project as doing like a whole order, but just that process of getting something ready to go and then getting it sent is like a hurdle. And I just felt very accomplished that I got it ready. I took it to send at like 10 minutes after 7, not knowing that all the shipping places closed at 7. So then I got it sent out the next day, yesterday. Anyway, enough about jewelry. Where should we start with the Charlie Kirk, the 27 clues of, there were 26 reasons that Dee Dee got a podcast, put up a post that got me really inspired. And so that's what I read his post on my pre-recorded Charlie Kirk video from the day before yesterday. And then I added a big one of my own at the end there. And most of the 27 clues leave Erica out of it. It's more like just indicating that his crew was in on it. But I believe that Erica was in on it. I believe that BB and President Ponscum, that they were all in on it. I mean, President Ponscum had been in a fight with him, and then because he was all upset about Charlie wanting to get the Trumpstein files released. And then, what was it, like a day or two after the assassination, that maybe it was 3 days at the most, that a reporter asked President Ponscum how he was doing since his good friend was tragically red-rummed. And he said, "Oh, me, I'm fine. Look at the ballroom building. They broke ground." And people were just stunned. I mean, he gives himself away all the freaking time. So much so that we're just bamboozled. And the gaslighting is just so extreme. So this whole thing with Natalie Harp, this 34-year-old woman that is with him more than anybody, it seems like a very inappropriate alignment. There's not proof that there's an affair, but it certainly seems that this woman is in love with him and obsessed with him, and he's her boss. So we all remember Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton and an incident that happened in the Oval Office involving a cigar and a G-string and blah, 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 which was what got Clinton impeached and pretty much destroyed Monica's life ever since. I mean, she's been able to kind of turn her infamy into a career. You know, she was making handbags. I think I want to say she's like an advocate for women victims, I think. But, you know, people just make fun of her, which is unfortunate. I think pretty much any, I would almost say all, but of course not all, but young people are very susceptible to power and attention from a superior. And it's an abuse of power, no matter how you cut it. It doesn't matter if, even if the employee is older than the employer, it's not an even playing ground, and it's taking advantage of your position of power over another person to engage in a relationship with them. So this situation with Natalie Harp, even if it's not sexual, and I'm sure it is, because we all know Donnie's a freaking pervert. In my opinion, it is. In my humble conspiracy theory opinion, allegedly. But even if it's not sexual, it's like she's leaving him love letters. She's in his personal space. I think she's more of like a nanny caretaker, that she's there to indicate when he needs a diaper change. Or, you know, I've often wondered if he's not wearing a catheter. Have you wondered that, Annabise? There's sometimes pictures where you can see some like tubing in his pants leg. And maybe he doesn't wear a catheter all the time, but maybe some of the time. But, you know, the incontinence is very real. And then especially with this medication that he alleges, does he allege that he's taking the fat drug? I don't know. There's been a whole lot of talk about that too. But also I want to mention that I think that all the talk about the fat drug, I think all the talk about Natalie Harp, I think all the talk about the freaking Pond Scum, it's all designed to distract from the Trumpstein files and from the war. Both of those things are like balls to the walls right now. I mean, bad, bad, bad. So is the Pond Scum. They've got fences and screening up so you can't see it, you can't get near it. I can only imagine what it looks like. I mean, you can still get drone footage and flying overhead. But why don't they put Stephen Miller in there to eat up all the Pond Scum? He'd do a great job. And then, you know, you could put President Pond Scum in there too to help, because it is a big pool. It's a really big pool. I mean, the creation of that was pretty outlandish. That the conception of it and the creation of it, I think it was like over 100 years ago. I want to say around 1922, especially for back then. But, you know, they didn't know what they were getting into. And it's been problematic probably since it was first built, but never more problematic than now, with that whole like coating on the bottom, and then these bizarre allegations of somebody going in there with a box cutter or a knife and the way President Scum predicted a few weeks prior that, like, you couldn't cut the thing with a knife. It's strong. It's strong. And like, why you would even think of a knife to a surface like that, to like a lining. Like, why would your brain even think knife to a pool liner? It makes no sense. But it's just so bizarre. That man is so bizarre. I'm so sick of listening to what he says and trying to ungaslight myself. It's just like it's kind of a lost cause, but a lot of other channels are doing it very well. So I get inspired from watching these other channels, and then I want to talk about it on my channel. So thanks for bearing with me. So the no charges for the crimes in the Trumpstein files. They took out the photographs. They said images, so I'm going to bet you a million videotapes of torture, grape, red rum, and other violence. None of those 4 things are legal. So why no charges? Why no arrests? Why no investigations? These people are freaking out of control, Anna Bees. Sorry. My son called, so I'll try to come back. Oh, well, so you're still on the phone with him. You're sweet to let me know that. I'm sorry to interrupt your life, my dear. You go talk to your kid. So yeah, those are some hideous crimes. And people should be charged. And if you have videotape of these actual tortures, grapes, red rums, and other violence being committed, you'd probably be able to see the perpetrator in the images that they're talking about, not just the victims. So we know some of these perpetrators are very wealthy, powerful individuals. We know who some of these perpetrators are. Still no charges. It's unbelievable. It's just sick. It's a sad state of affairs. Fortunately, Katie Fang and her lawsuit are moving forward, and that woman knows what she's doing. She's a Harvard educated lawyer. She is very well known. She's pretty famous as a journalist and as a lawyer. And she's very motivated for all the right reasons. She's not motivated by money. She's motivated because she's met with a lot of survivors, and she cares, and she knows that she has the resources and the wherewithal to file the lawsuit that she filed, that she's winning. She's in the process of winning, getting green lights. It's a long process. When you file a lawsuit, it's a very long process. You have hearings and motions and appeals and, just hurdle after hurdle. So she's winning the hurdles, and Popak, I forget his first name, the guy who does Legal AF, he's been talking to Katie Fang and interviewing her, and Michael Popak, and he's been having discussions with her and talking about the case and how this is like a precedent-setting case for specifically investigative journalists being able to sue to have access to the records, the public records, which investigative journalists do that all the time. They sue to get public records released when public records are being denied. So that's how you gain access. I mean, even like Paula Plunder has sued or written letters with the intent to sue to get, for instance, in the Gabby Petito case, one of the body cam footages from the female park ranger, Melissa Hall. Her body cam footage was withheld when everybody else's body cam footage was released, and there was no reason for it. And she eventually got a hold of it. Same thing with that damn 3 hour and 33-minute interview with Nicole Kessinger in the Chris Watts case. That interview, only the audio was released for, I don't remember if it was like 1 year or 3 years. I want to say it was 3 years. And she just kept at it. And she finally got that 3 hour, 33-minute video footage that was so revealing. Even though we'd all heard the audio, it was so revealing to see the visual. So you can see when Nicole Kessinger says, "They were this big," or when she takes her water bottle, when the Kobach keeps pressuring her to say Shanann's name, and he's like, "Can you say her name?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Say it." And she says, "Shanann," and she squeezes the water bottle and twists it. Shanann. It's just like, my goodness, like, you can't make this stuff up, can you? It's pretty crazy. What other stunning moments were there in that footage? Anyway, so that's how you get public records released, is you either file a lawsuit or you write a letter of intent to sue. And I've known people who have sued cities to get public records, and then they also won monetary damages, because you kind of have to have a monetary damage in a lawsuit. And Katie Fang does. I think hers is $1. I literally think she's suing for $1. But, that's how you really get your point across. Gwyneth Paltrow sued that guy for $1 that, like, barreled into her skiing. And then he's like, "Well, you don't really want the $1, do you?" And she's like, "Yeah, damn it, give me my freaking $1." Too funny. So I am thinking I'm going to wrap up and just keep this short and sweet, my dear, because you're busy on your phone call, and, I'm trying to make shorter videos more often because it's so hard to make the videos in the summertime with my household being just kind of on fire all the time. There's just a lot of activity, which is great, but it's harder to make my videos. It's like I like to not have distractions and to have it quiet. And isn't it nice that I haven't had distractions and I've had it quiet? Not even the dog scratching at the door. But maybe I should play the Becca Day video. And sometimes I play these videos because I think they're going to get taken down. And now that I say that, I think that the Becca Day is a good candidate to be taken down. I know what I wanted to talk about. In my last video, I tried to play I've had it video for you guys, and it was in Russian. And I thought I must have hit something. But my phone and my laptop have been infiltrated by Russian bots, and they're translating a lot of my videos. When I try to watch my own videos of me on my laptop or my phone, I'm speaking Russian. But not all of the videos. Like, they haven't done anything to the Midas Touch videos, but a lot of the videos are in Russian. But I can get around it by watching videos on my Roku television, because that's account is not attached to my YouTube channel, and it's just really wild. So should play one of those for you too, to show you what I'm talking about. It's really annoying when I'm trying to watch a video and that happens. But did they get Keith Edwards? I think they did. Let me see if the Keith Edwards video is in Russian. Yeah.
Van het nieuwe vliegtuig. En hoeveel heeft het de Amerikaanse belastingbetaler gekost om het vliegtuig te upgraden? Het kostte heel weinig in vergelijking met wat het zou kosten als we het op een andere manier hadden gedaan. Dat was allemaal een leugen.
Okay. Can you hear how fast it's going? I checked the speed because I'm like, oh my God, they put it on double speed too. So now it's double speed Russian, but the playback speed is on normal. And, you know, there's no translation, but this is crazy. So this is me trying to watch a Keith Edwards video on my phone. Ready?
Een van de belangrijkste thema's van deze tussentijdse verkiezingen in 2026 is betaalbaarheid. Mensen kunnen zich niets meer veroorloven. En Donald Trump voerde daar campagne mee in 2024. Sterker nog, het is alleen maar erger geworden. Gisteren kwam Donald Trumps financiële verklaring naar buiten en daaruit bleek dat de president
What the F?
aan zijn toegang tot het wit.
What the freaking F? Is that so creepy? So creepy. But I think the Becca Day one I can play you. So this is an 8-minute video. I'm going to go ahead and play the whole thing and then say good night. So here we go.
This caused a little bit of drama between...
Let's take it
I just
to
published an article over on my Substack titled The Pattern of Loss in the Orbit of Power, and it is discussing a topic that we dove into a little bit last year, but I wanted to revisit, and that topic is, why do so many people within the MAGA movement have a romantic partner or spouse who has passed away under mysterious circumstances? And really, this extends further than just MAGA. It's really the entire network of Jeffries, but I really wanted to zero in a few figures who have been powerhouses behind the MAGA movement who have lost a romantic partner or spouse under very mysterious circumstances. And we started this list by talking about Donald Trump and Ivana Trump. As we know, Ivana Trump passed away at the age of 73 on July 14th of 2022. And her cause of passing was ruled to be blunt force trauma to the torso because she had fallen down her stairs.
Blunt force trauma to the torso doesn't really seem consistent with falling down the stairs because your torso's in the middle of your body. It would be more like your shoulders and your legs, your butt. But see, hitting those parts of your body isn't going to kill you. You got to have damage to your internal organs.
And her passing ultimately prompted the New York Attorney General to delay the tax and business fraud testimony depositions for Ivanka, Donald Trump, and Donald Trump Jr. that were originally scheduled to take place on July 15th of 2022. And let's also keep in mind that whenever Ivana and Donald Trump were divorced, Ivana claimed that Donald Trump had R-worded her and also accused him of being
And this was also 2 weeks and 2 days after Ghislaine was sentenced. I think that's very relevant.
serial cheater. And it is not lost on me that Ivana's passing occurred years after Donald Trump had allegedly joked around with Jeffrey about pushing his wife at the time, Marla Maples, down the stairs whenever Donald Trump found out she was pregnant with Tiffany Trump. But somehow that joke manifested into Ivana's reality. And then we discussed RFK Jr., our Secretary of Health and Human Services,
and RFK Jr.'s wife, Mary Richardson Kennedy, was in the middle of a very contentious divorce. They were fighting over money, fighting over custody, and pretty much everything about her passing is parallel to what happened to Virginia Giuffre a year ago. Virginia Giuffre a year and a few months ago, I think it was like April 25th was the day she passed away, which was the day before Melania's birthday. Interesting, because she would have a lot of that Trumpstein information that Melania is so desperate to try to hide. And also, we all remember the post that Virginia had put up a month before saying that she'd been in that weird car accident and her face was all bruised and she had 4 days to live. That photograph of her face, as soon as I saw that, I knew that she was a goner, and I felt like she was probably being held hostage and that was like a hostage picture. And it also reminds me a lot of the Kylie Rodney photo that they titled Sleepy. With both of them, their eyes are slightly opened, almost like they're rugged and passed out, or maybe not alive.
The passing of his late wife, Mary Richardson Kennedy. Mary Richardson Kennedy allegedly took her own life using a rope on May 16th of 2012, not long after she had discovered a journal that RFK Jr. used to keep track of the affairs he had on her, and he would rate women based on his pleasure level. And at the time of Mary's passing, her and RFK Jr. were still legally married, and he had publicly began a relationship with his now wife, Cheryl Hines. And it was very well documented by Mary Richardson Kennedy's friends and family that RFK Jr. was horrendous to her, deeply emotionally manipulative to her, deeply emotionally abusive to her.
And he got together with her when she was 14. I thought it was 15 and that he was 21, but she would have been 14 and he would have been 20. He was the older brother of her good friend. Billy, how are you, my friend? I'm playing a 8-minute video that Becca Day dropped today. How's your day going? It's nice to be on live. It's been a few days. And Anna was here and very active, and she had to go and talk to her son on the phone. So let's play some more of this while if you want to answer what's up with you, girl.
Nice to see better you. If she wasn't alive. When she made him angry, he would threaten to take his own life in front of the kids. Just really outrageous behavior. There was even situations where RFK Jr. was putting Mary Richardson Kennedy on planes with Jeffrey, and in situations where she would have to be at the same event with him. And after her passing, like in present day, like within the last year or so, RFK Jr. has blamed his connection with Jeffrey and Ghislaine on Mary Richardson Kennedy, stating that Ghislaine and Mary had a friendship, just simply ignoring the fact that RFK Jr. knew Jeffrey and Ghislaine before he married Mary Richardson, and he maintained a relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell after Mary Richardson's passing. And I think it's worth noting that...
And I can't remember if she says it in here, that there was an email sent to Jeffrey right after her remains were found, like within less than an hour from the time that her remains were found. Somebody sent him an email, very short and to the point. Mary Richardson Kennedy's remains were found on her property. And yeah, I should look that up because I brought that up recently and I couldn't remember if it was one that he responded whoops to or not. Doing all right, and thank you. And you? I'm doing really good. I went for a swim today. It was like 100 degrees here and I haven't swam in a while, and I love swimming. It's like hitting my reset button. I need to be swimming.
When Mary Kennedy's body was found hanging, her fingers were wedged underneath the rope as if she was trying to pull herself up. So arguably, Mary Kennedy either changed her mind or her passing was not her choice. And then we talked about Peter Thiel, our least favorite government contract.
This is gross. Are you ready? Nice. Love swimming. I know. Like, I love it for the meditation and relaxation more than anything else, which... yeah, I need to be doing it. Peter is gross. Yeah, this is some really crazy stuff. Like I've been aware of it, but I don't pay that much attention to him.
Who is obsessed with the Antichrist, yes. And we've talked about this specific situation quite a bit, but I have to include it because throughout the late 2010s, we know that Peter Thiel was in a romantic relationship and having an extramarital affair with a much younger influencer named Jeff Thomas. Peter Thiel was funding Jeff's life in a lot of ways. He gave him a multi-million-dollar mansion to live in, sports cars, paid for vacations, luxury apartments. And while the two had staunchly different political ideologies, they seemed to have persistent romantic feelings for one another. Despite that, on March 8th, 2023, Jeff Thomas allegedly fell out of his window, which caused him to lose his life.
Fell out of his window. Peter is wannabe AC. What's AC? I'm not sure what AC means.
Passing was ruled to be self-inflicted, but his friends and family stated publicly on multiple occasions that they did not believe that he took his own life. The day of his passing, he was talking with family, talking with friends, posting on social media, living his normal routine. But where it becomes even more suspicious is knowing towards the end of Jeff and Peter's romantic affair, things became very tumultuous as Jeff Thomas showed up to a New Year's Eve party at Peter Thiel's home, and this caused a little bit of drama between Peter Thiel's husband and Peter Thiel's lover. And also, right before Jeff passed away, it's reported that he had just gotten done filming a tell-all interview detailing a years-long affair that he had had with a married father named Peter Thiel. And then, of course, we have to talk about Alan.
Oh, yeah, she's just about to get into Alan Dershowitz. He's such a freaking dirtbag. Yeah, Peter Thiel is horrible. And yeah, you're on point with AC, the Antichrist. Fell out of a window. How convenient. Yeah, just like Elaine Maxwell's dad fell off of his yacht. It's difficult to fall out of a window because it's a window. OMG. Right, you mean like you have to open it? And I can't remember if it was him or it was one of the Trumpstein victims that also fell out of a window. She was like projectiled out. This was on a street in New York City. She was like way out in the street. Like she would have had to take a running jump. Like she was thrown. She was absolutely thrown. I'll get more into that another time, maybe. Sounds like a hit. Too many steps involved to fall out of a window or off of a building. Yeah, or out of your yacht.
Alan Dershowitz and his brother. We all know who Alan Dershowitz is at this point. He is the attorney who loves to seek out different accused predators and defend them against their victims, who are typically women and teenagers. His clientele include figures like Donald Trump, Harvey Weinstein, Benjamin Netanyahu, O.J. Simpson, really any bad guy you can think of. But there is something about Alan Dershowitz and his brother that the public often forgets. Alan Dershowitz's first wife was a woman named Sue Barlaw, and I apologize for pronouncing her last name wrong. Sue and Alan would marry in 1959. Together they had two children named Elon and Mark, and those two children were reported to be the light of Sue's life. But tragically, Sue allegedly took her own life in 1983 by jumping off of the New York State Bridge, which ultimately caused her to drown. And she allegedly did this
It's really weird. All of a sudden there's like circus music in the background. I don't remember that being there before. I think I would have noticed. I'm wondering if it's being infiltrated by those little Russian bots.
Long after Alan Dershowitz beat Sue to the point that she had to be hospitalized. It's been reported that while Sue was in the hospital recovering from her husband Alan Dershowitz's beatings, Alan Dershowitz obtained a court ruling stripping her of custody, simultaneously filed for divorce. This trauma is allegedly what led up to Sue taking her own life. After she passed away, Alan Dershowitz began slamming the media and the press, litigation threats, restraining order, lawsuit filings, all in an attempt to keep the circumstances of his wife's passing quiet. But it gets worse because Sue's sister, Marilyn, married Alan Dershowitz's brother, Nathan Dershowitz, a few years after Sue and Alan were married. And Marilyn, Sue's sister, would also meet a very mysterious and tragic passing, just like her sister. On July 2nd of 2011, Marilyn was riding her bike with Nathan Dershowitz, her husband, when she was allegedly hit by a 7-ton U.S. Postal Service truck and passed away. The Postal Service driver who was originally charged with Marilyn's passing was acquitted of all crimes, and after the acquittal, Nathan Dershowitz filed a federal lawsuit under his brother, Alan Dershowitz's representation. That resulted in a $4.6 million payout to Nathan Dershowitz. While not every tragedy...
and she's about to say, of course these might actually be like accidental, but there's just too many of them. Too many of them. Yeah, definite hits.
That happens within this network is a conspiracy or foul play. We are sentient enough to know that accumulation of power without accountability produces a profound absence of empathy. We know that when one's empathy disappears, almost anything can be rationalized in the name of self-preservation. So, why wouldn't we be suspicious? So I have for you guys right now, go check out my article for more.
Oh, she does a really good job, that Becca Day. Creepy. We see the patterns. Exactly. And just the dates that these things happen. Like, I always think it's fascinating that Pete Kegsbreath married his current wife, the one that was his boss, that he had a baby with when they were both still married to their other spouses that they each had 3 kids with. So they each had 3 small children with their spouses. They're boinking at work. She's a supervisor. She has his baby before either of them get a divorce. But then they got married 9 days after little E was Epsteined. And they got married at a President Pond Scum golf course in New Jersey. I don't remember if it was Bedminster. I don't think it was. I think it was a national golf course in New Jersey. But 9 days after little E was Epsteined. And I don't know if it was planned well in advance or if it was flying by the seat of the pants, put together at the last minute to celebrate the Epsteining of Epstein. I do not know. But I'm convinced that Kegsbreath would be all over those Trumpstein files. I mean, he's such a perv. He would have been really young back in the 90s when a lot of this crap was happening. But, I mean, he's not that young. He's probably at least 45. So, by the 2000s, he would have been actively involved, potentially. I mean, we know he's a freaking rapist and a drunk. It's bad. What pisses me off so much about all of this victimization is the violence against women. Like, it's just like when you're a kid and we're taught, boys and girls are taught that boys don't hit girls, right? Like, they're usually stronger, they have more muscle mass. And then you've got these schoolyard bullies like President Pond Scum, who allegedly commits violence against women. And I'm so sick of saying allegedly, because we know it's in the files. We know it's in the reports. We know it's in the FBI files and the reports that he committed these crimes, the violence, the rape. And yet he's still in office. Did you see him today, Billy? He was in North Dakota, completely dazed and confused, ribbon cutting with a giant diaper full of crap, just like him. Oh, we don't have to say allegedly because E. Jean Carroll, there you go. So yeah, that's been really good news. E. Jean Carroll has completely won the entirety. All appeals have been exhausted with her sexual assault case. And he owes her the $5 million that she never expected to see a penny of. But allegedly, that $5 million has been in a trust fund for years. So it's out of President Pond Scum's possession, or out of his reach, out of his grasp. and it should be getting distributed to E. Jean Carroll rapidly. We'll see. Fingers crossed. And then there is still the outstanding like 83 or so $1 million defamation case that he is still appealing, that maybe that will run out of appeals too. But he's got no avenue. He says he's going to still try to fight it. He's got nothing. He ain't got nothing upheld in court, in the Supreme Court. It was the final appeal was denied. His own freaking appointed judges said, no, we don't want to hear your complaint. We're not going to listen to it. This is over. It's a done deal. Your complaint's been heard again and again and again. He defamed her again too. He keeps defaming her. He keeps doing it. She's a tough cookie. I really want to watch the movie that she put out. Ask E. Jean, I think is the name of it. And I haven't looked it up recently to see where it's playing. Let me see if I can Google that real quick while I'm on. Where is the movie Ask E. Jean Carroll playing? So it is currently playing in select theaters across the U.S. Unfortunately, it's had a lot of trouble getting distributed because of, the connections. Ask E. Jean tickets and showtimes. They've got their own little website, of course. And let's see. See, it's not playing anywhere. That's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, I'll have to look at it more. But that's what I'm talking about is, the trouble that she's had getting it distributed because of his interference and his intimidation and all of that crap. But yeah, what he did to her is so terrible. And that was in the 90s. In the 90s. 30 years she's been living with this. She never really spoke about it or wrote about it until 2017 in a book that she published. And that's where it all started. And there were only 2 people that she told about it back when it happened. One of those people was a fellow reporter that she called right away. And I think that her talking to that woman is in the movie. I know I've seen pieces of them speaking about it, and it's just really tragic. She was still married at the time. She was married to a black man. There's that infamous photograph of Donald, President Scum, Ivana, E. Jean, and her husband at the time. And it's a photograph of all 4 of them. And it's the best part of the deposition with President Scum. And I forget E. Jean Carroll's attorney's name. Her first name is Robbie. And she shows that picture to President Scum, and he puts his finger on E. Jean Carroll's face and says, "There's my wife, Marla," when he had tried to say that E. Jean Carroll wasn't his type. And his other wife is in the photograph, and he's not even recognizing her. I mean, it's bizarre. And that is on a videotape deposition. That was a really telling moment. And he tried to say that the photograph was just like them crossing paths at a publicity thing and that he didn't know her. because it was his social connection with her that got the whole situation going, where she was walking by the Bergdorf Goodman. Is that how you say the name of that store? Bergdorf Goodman, I think. She was walking by and he was walking in, and he was like, "Oh, I'm trying to find a gift for somebody. Can you help me?" And she was a famous columnist who gave advice. And so he was like, "I need some of your advice." And since she knew him, she went into the store with him to help him pick out a gift. He quickly was like, "Let's go to the lingerie section." And then he quickly was like, "You need to try this on." And she snapped back at him like, "You need to try it on." But shortly after that, they were in a dressing room and he assaulted her. And she was trying to deny him adamantly. He knew that she was trying to deny him adamantly, and he forced himself on her. And, you know, it's gross because he penetrated her, and they get all hung up on this definition of grape. And because she didn't see his freaking member, because, you know, she's up here and it's down there, and she's in an attack in a moment like that. Like, you don't know if this person is going to like suffocate you. You don't know if they're going to do that. You don't know what they're going to do. It's a life and death situation, you know, because he's obviously isn't going to want her to scream. They're in a freaking dressing room at a department store. She could have screamed. So he might have been holding her mouth, and then she's not going to be able to breathe. You know, like the story that one woman gave about Brett Kavanaugh when they were younger. Like, she was scared to death that he was going to accidentally kill her because he was so drunk, and he was smothering her so that she couldn't scream at this party where he assaulted her in a room. He doesn't deny any of it. And he's the mofo making all these horrible decisions in our administration right now. JusticeAtooZ, he's kind of forced himself on the whole world at this point. Yes, nice to meet you, JusticeAtooZ. You are correct. He has turned the whole world into pond scum, hasn't he? But then SCOTUS messed with the 14th. Yeah, and the 250th State Fair. Oh my God, what a joke. Yeah, we can talk about that. That's a good one. It's still got like 11 or 12 more days to go. And of course, we're just at the 1st or now the 2nd of July, since it's after midnight. Happy July, you guys. I'm down to 61 days until my braces come off. Yay. So just over 9 weeks, just under 2 months, because, you know, both July and August have 31 days, and I should be getting them off September 1st. So unbelievable. Anyway, back to the point here. The state fall. Ugh. So the state fair, the state fail. Yeah, that's a good one. It's reprehensible. What happened to the $128 million that was raised to put on this giant event that was supposed to have like a Burning Man type of event there, as a bunch of multiple huge events? But the whole thing has turned into like the Fry Fair. Remember that Fry Fair that was like down on a Caribbean island, and the whole thing was a sham, and all these people got had for thousands of dollars and put in peril, and then they got sued. What's amazing is that Ben Meiselas from Midas Touch was the lawyer who sued the Fry company, the one who put on that Fry Festival. And this is like President Ponscum's Fry Festival. So the $128 million that was raised to put on this amazing fair, and it was raised over the course of almost a decade, like 8 years. Where'd all that money go? Follow the freaking money. And we know exactly where it went. I want to mention before I forget that, did you guys hear President Ponscum talking today in North Dakota about having a threesome with his sons? I'm not even freaking kidding me. I mean, I'm not kidding me. I can't even speak. It's freaking unbelievable. A threesome with his sons. Like, the dementia is so bad. He's speaking publicly, and those are the words that come out of his mouth. He's talking about how he wants that Medal of Honor so bad, and he wants his boys to tell him a reason why he should be able to bestow upon himself the Medal of Honor, and that they couldn't come up with anything. And then, like, that part of his speaking gets a lot of airtime. The other part doesn't get a lot of airtime. I might have to play it for you. Threesomes and medals. Yeah, Billy, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, he forced himself on a 13-year-old girl. Yeah, a lot of that. And then there's a 23-year-old woman who's also coming forward, or she was 23 at the time that he attacked her, when he was 47, and stole from us taxpayers. And I think he's a confidential informant for government for a long time through his mafia connections in New York City. I agree with you. And he said something really interesting in that interview, the one that he walked out of, the one that was in Wisconsin in the rain. And he said, your elections are third world, your elections. He's saying that to the interviewer, like they're not his elections, like he's not part of this country. Your elections. Like, that was very telling. And I think he's telling the truth in that moment. Wasn't this a Smithsonian supposed to be in charge of the 250th? I think you're right, Josh. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. I think you are right. And Jersey. Yes, Billy says. Threesomes and medals. Josh says, what? Yeah, I'm going to play it for you. Yeah, Josh, it was crazy. It's insane. So I have to play it because no one's going to believe what I'm talking about except Billy, because she saw it too. Oh, Jazz, please play it. Yes. So yeah, did he pass around his kids in those Coke parties back in the day? I never thought about it with the boys. Of course, with Ivanka, whose name is actually Ivana, just like her mom, but Ivanka is like the little kid version, and it's just stuck. It's sort of like calling Nikki his whole life. So her birth name is Ivana, but she still goes by Ivanka. And yeah, I've always thought he probably sold her out. I mean, we've all seen that videotape of her when she's giving a tour of her bedroom that she hadn't been in many years. And she gets that look on her face when she's talking about the bed, and she like freezes up and she's almost crying and she freaks out. Allegedly, he never got in trouble, but the mafia guys he ran with all went to prison. No, they're all deceased, Billy. They all crashed in his helicopter crashes, right? Josh says, think of all the nastiness we'll never hear about. Right. Well, a lot of these people are not alive to tell their stories, or they are past, maybe out the window, right? Keith Edwards played it. OMG, so cray. Right. And see, you saw how much trouble I have playing Keith Edwards. He's speaking Russian. Ivanka bedroom scene. Yeah, I can play that too. But I can play Chris Mowry. He did a really good video of that craziness. Let me play a few minutes of Chris Mowry. He's really good. Why isn't it going to my history? That's weird. Here we go. Okay. And this kid, Chris Mowry, he's the one that was a survivor of the Marjorie. What's the name of that school down in Florida where they had the horrible event and then all the kids set up that march on Washington? It's not Marjorie Taylor Greene, but it's Marjorie something. So he was at that shooting. This kid, Chris Mowry. Hold on.
Dat ik er eentje voor mezelf neem, eentje voor hen en dan hebben we een trio. Oké, ik kies er eentje uit.
Okay, so they got Chris Mowry too. So now he's, I can't play it for you. That is too funny. That is too funny. More Russian. The Russians are in my phone. That's frustrating, though. I really wanted to play that for you. But if I put the link in the description, I'll put the link in the description right now as we're talking, and then you guys can play it yourselves. Let me do that real quick. It shouldn't be in Russian when you play it. And the video is actually on Adam Mockler's channel. So maybe if I go to Chris Mowry's channel, maybe it will cooperate. Let's see. I'm going to have to go to my channel. I'm probably speaking Russian on my channel too. And let's see. Description. This is frustrating. Okay. Edit. And there's the link. It's in there. So if you want, you can play it there. But let me try going to Chris Mowers. CRIS. And yeah, he doesn't have it on his channel, but it's really frustrating with the Russian. Anyway, yeah, I'll do the Ivanka bedroom scene. Screw Ivanka, she's enabling. Yeah, she's horrible. I mean, she's been through this stuff herself. Her mother fell down a flight of stairs the day before those depositions, and that was only 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? 3 years ago. 2022. 4 years ago now. Time flies. So 4 years. And then, like, don't you think the kids would have to be suspicious of the whole thing? OMG, and Kai, screw her too. Yeah, she's completely, I mean, they're just into the profiting. They probably would fall out of buildings too if they weren't in Dear Leader's Corner. My house is the White House girl. GTFO. Yeah, my house is the White House. Right. When she does her little White House tour. And she's like, we used to play soccer in the hallways. It's like, really? So you just knock things down and you don't give a flying F because you're a Trumpster fire? Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. Thank you, Josh. That's exactly it. Marjorie. I cannot remember that to save my life. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. Yeah, you got it. Why is that not English? Turn your phone off, then back on again. I will do that, but it's on my laptop too. It's because of my YouTube channel, and I'm being infiltrated by Daddy Vladdy or something. Because it's not like that on my television, which is not associated with my YouTube channel. But it's pretty freaking wild. And even my own videos, I'm speaking Russian in. It's not all of the videos. It's just the videos that are educational about a revolution or something, right? I just turned it off and I'm rebooting it. I'm sure I'll see it somewhere. Been in the car all day. Just got home. Girl, can't find the clip about President Scum and his sons and medals and threesomes. Oh, that's so weird. Yeah. Let's see. I want the video of Ivanka Trump showing her bedroom from when she was a kid. Yep. Here we go. Found it. Okay, you ready? Hold on.
10 plus years. It's a little time capsule, if you notice, by the Madonna clock. And my interesting attempt at color painting, the homage to Poison and Motley Crue, the 90210 posters, little, I think they were trading cards that were stickers, and the Bon Jovi sort of wall. This was my bed. It's a little small for me now. Probably why I don't stay near anymore, but yeah.
And what floor are we on?
We are on the 68th floor. Not a bad view to wake up to.
And then she pivots. And I'll put a link to this in the description so you can get a better look at her face. You even hear her voice crack. But again, the gaslighting of her freaking President Scum father, she's not on the 68th floor. It's the 58th floor. He skips 10 floors to try to make his building seem taller. But everybody calls it the 68th floor. I believe it's the penthouse. So I am putting this link in the description of my video too. And edit. So now it's the second video is that one. So should we try to find the video from today? Let's see if I can Google for it. President Trump today in North Dakota talking about the Medal of Honor and his two sons having a threesome. Let's see. That one's 46 seconds, so it's probably not on there. Oh, here we go. Trump's unintentional threesome joke. This is the New York Post. It is 1 minute and 26 seconds. My guess is it's going to be in Russian, but let's see.
My face, the wind in my feathers.
Let's see if it's going to be in Russian. That'll be really annoying if it is.
Douglas MacArthur, great general.
Nope, it's English.
They're the only father and son pair to receive our nation's highest military award for courage above and beyond the call of duty. Now, as I see my two beautiful sons sitting there, I think I'm going to give one to myself, one to them, and we'll have a threesome, okay? I'll pick out one of the two. I'll give them the Congressional Medal of Honor for something, for their genius at hunting. And I'll get one for taking on Russia, or something. And we'll have a third pair. No, I'm only kidding. But I have seriously thought about, now this is dangerous to say because the fake news is up there all over the place. And when I joke, I learned early on, don't be sarcastic in politics. But I actually said a few times that I've seriously thought of giving myself the Congressional Medal of Honor. Now, everyone knows I'm doing it with a chuckle, but then they report, he wants to give himself the Congressional. So I don't say that anymore. It's very dangerous to say. But it is the highest award, and they had a father-son get it, and that's a tremendous tribute to a genetic pool.
Oh, it's so vile listening to his voice, isn't it? Ugh. And yeah, whenever he says something really stupid and gets called out, him and his people say, oh, well, he was kidding. It's like, yeah, right. I'm going to let puppies in 1 sec. Come on, babies. Come on in. Okay. All right. So you guys, thanks for being here and making my live more lively, because I was going to wrap up a little while ago, because right before you got here, Billy, I was playing that one video of Becca Day, and then I was going to say goodnight. But since you're here and Josh is here, and Josh, if you care to share what state you're in, I think that's always fascinating to know. I'm in Ohio, and Billy often shares what state she's in. I think she's shared it today, didn't she? But I'll leave that to her. I don't like to out people in case somebody's not in the mood to share something. I like to leave that up to them. Okay. So I don't care about Ivanka. No, I don't care about Ivanka. She's still guilty of crimes. Yes, she is. And that stuff with Albania is phenomenal, that the people of Albania have been having like the longest protest in the history of their country, and probably many others. It's probably about 28 days long by now, if it's still going on. I haven't checked today. I think it was still going on yesterday or the day before. Jared's laptop. Oh, man, Ivanka's disgusting creature that she's married to. Yeah. H is a sicko. And yeah, what about the Steve Witkoff turning off the mic of a congresswoman when she was asking him questions, legitimate questions about his alleged war negotiations, and he turned off her freaking mic? That's outrageous. He talked about shooting his load last week. Yeah, Josh, thanks for reminding me. That was creepy AF. Yeah. And yeah, that's the dementia, is the filter's gone. He's a freaking perv. These are the things that are in his brain, and it comes out the mouth. New York near Syracuse. Oh, it's beautiful. I love upstate New York. I haven't been there in forever. Absolutely gorgeous. And Billy BB is in Cali. Oh, she wants an island for what? An inheritance of depravity. And one of the things that they want to put on the island is a spa for, I forget the wording. It was some creepy, crazy, like youth longevity, stave off death for eternity type of spa. Like, Oh, I wrote it down in my notes, but I've been like losing my notebooks constantly. I don't think it's in this notebook, but I can check and see. Yeah. Maybe. No, I don't think it is. Did you see his hand today? It's really bad. Really bad. You guys have probably seen it. I could look at it in that Russian video. Chris Mallory's Russian video. His hand is nastier than ever. And you know, Billy, I can't remember if you were in one of my lives last week when in one of the photographs or videos, he's definitely wearing nylon gloves to cover his hands because even the insides, the palms of his hands are like all smooth. The outsides are all smooth. And I was like, man, why doesn't he wear the nylon gloves all the time just so we don't have to see that nastiness? Please. Let's see, where was that Chris Mallory one? I'm not going to play the noisy part because it's all in Russian. Russia. But I'm pretty sure that he zooms in on the hand at one point. Let's see if he does. It might not have been that video. It might have been one that I watched right after that, which was... it might have been on Blunt Politics that I saw it. Anyway, let me do a Google and see if it comes up. An image of Trump's bruised hand from today with the makeup on the back of it. And then go to images. Is this from today? It kind of, this is definitely what it looked like today. But it's not from today. But here, I'll just show you. I mean, we've all seen it 100 times, but it probably is worse than this today. So, you know, it's like they took a bucket of spackle and just spackled it, but then his fingers are looking so nasty. And so, you know, he definitely needs those nylon gloves. And then you can see the bruise right here. I mean, there's nothing wrong with needing medical treatment. Why not just be honest about it? This is so ludicrous. But, you know, it looks like the hand of a deceased person. Look at the fingernails. Like there's no oxygen making it to those fingernails. It looks like the hand of a deceased person. He is really sick. So it's lovely to have a new person in the chat, Josh. Thanks for hanging out with us. Oh my God, they gonna be disappearing kids for their blood or something next, like at the ranch. Absolutely, completely. That's, I'm sure, the plan. Stem cell goop, exactly. OMG, the Rushki videos. Josh says, the other day I saw a video of the Albanian protesters pushing construction-related containers off a cliff. I saw that too, Josh. That was pretty awesome, actually. I mean, It sounds bad, but it was good what they were doing. I mean, the destruction of that natural preservation of land is illegal, and it has to be stopped. I think, is it called Flamingo Island? It would really endanger flamingos if they were to bulldoze the damn thing like they want to. The other thing, my brain is jumping over to the other birds that have been showing up deceased. And so we know that there was one baby duck deceased on the algae reflection pool, and then two more maybe adolescent ducks that were found at a nearby body of water. They weren't on the reflection pool, but like a reserve pond nearby, I think. And now I'm thinking maybe that's another reason why they have the screen and all the fencing up, is because more dead ducks that they don't want anyone to see. Because I kept Googling every day to see how many more dead ducks there were, and there was no more being reported. But I'm like, I bet they're there. They're just not being reported because, fake news, right? She acted like she discovered the island in the Mediterranean, straight to prison. Yeah, I agree. They all deserve to go straight to prison. I mean, they're all stealing money constantly, and our money, and admitting it. I mean, it's just the most blatant. It's outrageous. It's completely insane that we're still in this predicament. Like, the fascism is here, man, and it better not be here to stay. Our democracy seems to be making a comeback, but we don't want to count our chickens before they hatch. Like, this is some crazy crap going on. Absolutely crazy crap. So, my darlings, it's almost 1 a.m. Shall we say goodnight, or shall we continue? Is there other crapola you want to talk about? Good or bad? Pray for a better day. So today's the 2nd. The day after tomorrow is the 4th of July. I would imagine there's just going to be a whole bunch of crap between now and then. There'll be a whole bunch of crap then. And people aren't going to that fair. I mean, they've got tens of people. They've got dozens of people. People are not going to that fair. And it's not really a fair. Like, President Ponscum promised that there would be a rodeo there. Have you guys seen video footage of the rodeo? It is literally people on their wooden stick horses. I shit you not. You cannot call that a rodeo. You cannot. Period. I'm putting my foot down. This is where I draw the line. What an insane freak. So that just kind of says it all. But they're trying to get people, like, even today here in Ohio on the radio, there were advertisements trying to get people to drive to Washington, D.C. to go to this ridiculous failed festival, whatever, 250th birthday party. And it's not that people aren't patriotic. It's that our country has become pond scum, and we're not going to celebrate the pond scum. We're going to celebrate when the pond scum is eradicated. So the 4th of July, with all this going on, my guess is it's going to be a bust. There'll probably be fireworks in Washington, D.C., but there probably won't be crowds of people like there normally are. And who knows with the weather, maybe it'll get rained out, which, it kind of seems like Mother Nature has had a hand in keeping things more democratic. Dang. It's just freaking nuts. I definitely think Mother Nature is in our corner and against the President Pond Scum. Faux show. They should put some diving boards around the pool for maggots. Yeah, so Josh, I propose that they put Stephen Miller in there to slither around and eat all the pond scum. And it's probably more than he could consume himself. So I think President Pond Scum should get in there and help. I think between the two of them, they could completely clean it all up. Can't wait for midterms. OMG. Didn't one of the states have a Confederate flag display? Thank you, Josh. You've got some awesome comments. Was it South Carolina? I think. But yes, I definitely saw Confederate flags at that effing thing, and that is so out of pocket. Are you freaking kidding me? It is really sad. It is really sad. I'm extremely patriotic. I was born in Arlington. I was raised for my formative years right there in Washington, D.C. My son lives there now. He's doing his hospital corpsmanship for the Navy at the Walter Reed Hospital. And he had been a ceremonial guard for 2 years straight out of boot camp up until just like a year or so ago. And what was it that they used the ceremonial guards for recently that I was like, thank God my son's not there. It was with the UFC fighting thing. They had the ceremonial guards there. Like that is sacrilegious. Those ceremonial guards are for national heroes, people who've sacrificed their lives to our country. That pissed me off so bad. So bad. Oh, it was North Carolina. Thank you, Billy, for checking that out or for remembering. It's nice to be accurate and not incorrect, right? On my videos. I try to self-correct on the next video or in the comments, but it's a lot of work to clean up afterwards. So thanks for cleaning it up live in action right on the spot. The criminals should be in prison regardless of their politics. I'm sick of the impunity. I'm so sick of it. And like the douchebag VP. And then we've got these first ladies and second ladies that are like, in my opinion, they're monsters too. It's sort of like they're being held hostage, but it's sort of like they're, I don't know, they're in on it. I mean, they're part of the problem. I'm sick of corporate APACers. Yes, absolutely. So, I found out something interesting the other day. You guys have probably heard this too, that Hakeem Jeffries, he sometimes seems good and sometimes the opposite. That he's been tight with the Kushner family since college. Horrifying and fitting. It all makes sense. It's like the missing puzzle piece, right? Got to get money out of politics. Yeah. Well, right, because we've got these freaks like Mark Z and the Big E and Bezos, these billionaires that basically they're the ones in charge. And that's insane. But my guess is that they're being blackmailed too, because President Scum has the dirt on them, and that's really why they're cooperating. Jeffries is an APACer completely. Sorry. So what did I miss? Anna Bees. We've got our new friend Josh C's in here. He's super smart. And of course, Billy Darling is always super smart. And I keep saying, okay, well, let's wrap it up. I can keep going for a little bit longer since you're back, my dear. Controlled opposition. Yeah, there you go. Anna Darling, good to see you, babes. So yeah, I hate it when I keep saying I'm going to wrap up and then I don't wrap up. I like to say what I'm doing and follow through. But with Anna B's coming back in, it seems silly just to wrap it. I mean, we've had so much good conversation. So Anna B's, almost all of my videos are in Russian on my YouTube that's connected to my channel. On my YouTube, on my television, they're all in English, but it's crazy. I'm going to see about my own video. Like, I'm going to pull up one of my own. I think the ones that I did a couple days ago, the ones that I posted the day before yesterday, I think that I tried to play one and that it was in Russian, but I could be wrong. Let me see. I'm going to check it right now. Am I speaking Russian?
Oké, dit is mijn tweede video over
complottheorieën. This is me speaking Russian.
Hoe gaat het? Bedankt voor het kijken naar mijn kanaal. Welkom of welkom terug. Dit is JusticeAtooZ Love Saves Lives. Ik ben een klinisch erkend psychotherapeut met een opleiding in kunsttherapie.
I didn't know I knew Russian.
Via YouTube. Ik vind het geweldig en dank aan de kijkers, want zonder hen had ik het nooit 4 jaar volgehouden.
Freaking crazy. Crazy. My own video. I'm Russian. So this is one that I was filming up in, is it New Albany? The town that Les Wexner pretty much bought, that's like east of Columbus. I was in his town. I think it's called New Albany. I'm like having a brain fart. Let's see. I'll just ask Google to make sure I'm not having a brain fart. Where does Leslie Wexner live? Yeah, New Albany. He lives in a 45,000 square foot mansion, New Albany Farms. He resides in a massive 336 acre equestrian estate in New Albany. So the whole city of New Albany, it was a town of like 900 people. It was an old farming town. And he literally took over the entire town, but now it's just like a bedroom community to the city. And it's like picture perfect. It is like the freaking Stepford Wives. It is extremely pretty. And I love that type of architecture. It's almost like you're in a storybook. And there's the white like horsing fence is the entire community of New Albany. It's everywhere. But it is really creepy what he's done with that town. So I pulled over in some shade because I was up in Columbus for the last few days, and I wasn't able to do my lives. I mean, I was coming home at night, but I wasn't able to pull it together to do my lives. So I decided to grab some time and make a couple of videos while I was up there. And I just happened to be near New Albany. So I thought, I'll go drive around. And I was going to get out of my car and try to find a nice spot where I could make a video for you guys. But, you know, it's like you want to be contained, because if you're just like out in the wild, you know, you have wind and people and stuff. So, so yeah, I have the windows cracked because it was pretty hot, and I'm in the shade, and I've got like a black thing over my driver's side window, but you can hear the birds. The birds were phenomenal. But anyway, why was I even talking about that? I probably should wrap up because it's getting late. My brain is deteriorating. All right. Apparently they want Jazz to learn a new language. Is that so effing crazy? And why me? Like, I honestly take it as a compliment. Like, why would they be messing with my channel? I'm just this tiny little channel. But I always wonder if I'm getting a lot more views than it says I'm getting. Like those 2 videos that I posted the other day, the last time I checked, the Gabby Petito one had like 30 views, and the Charlie Kirk one had like 10 views. And yeah, I mean, it could be accurate. I'm not saying that it's not, but I wonder sometimes. I wonder. One of my videos with Erica Kirk's crazy eyes on the thumbnail, that one recently got over 1,000 views, which is a lot for me. That's almost like going viral for my scale of things these days. And, you know, it's refreshing because it's nice to know that you have a reach and that people are interested. That keeps you inspired. Did YouTube do that? Yeah, YouTube is doing that to me, Anna Bees. Like I said, I take it as a compliment. They must see me as a threat or something. Like, why would they be doing that to little old Jazz? Justice A to Z. Is it German? I think it's it sounds very Russian to me. I can play it again if you want to listen. Josh sees, how does that even happen? Well, it just does. It is crazy. But some of them get undone because I first noticed it with an I've had it video when I was trying to play it for you guys the other day. I thought I must have hit something that was making it translate, and I just set it down. But then it was like all of my I've had it videos were doing that, and other like Chris Norland videos, Adam Mockler. Let's see this.
Donald Trump is desperate.
Okay, so Jack Cocchiarella is still fine. Midas Touch, they're not messing. Sorry, they're not messing with my Midas Touch videos. But and Christopher Titus, they're not messing with his either. What are we looking at? Katie Fang. I don't think they've been messing with hers. Let me check a Katie Fang real quick. I'm trying to find one that they did mess
Gisteren
with.
heeft het
Okay, they
Hooggerechtshof
did.
van de Verenigde Staten 2 belangrijke uitspraken gedaan. Beide met dezelfde uitkomst. Transgender meisjes mogen niet deelnemen aan sport op openbare scholen.
Is it German or Russian?
Het is wederom een aanval op een toch al gemarginaliseerde gemeenschap.
That's
Ten
Katie
eerste,
Fang.
Ten tweede is het wederom een klap voor de rechten van de hele LGBTQ+-gemeenschap.
See, that sounds distinctly Russian to me, but I don't know my languages that well. What do you guys think? It sounds German. Or Dutch. Am I crazy? Sounds like my son's company home. It's in Ohio. I found you from Liberal Dan the other night. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Liberal Dan. Or Trucker John. Thank you for reminding me, Josh sees. Yeah, because it's terrible when we float around to different channels and then forget the names of them. It wasn't Trucker John, it was Liberal Dan, and he was great. And some of you were like subbing up, and that was really nice. So let's give that channel a shout out too. So Trucker John is really good. If you guys haven't been familiar with Trucker John, but let me look up Liberal Dan because I know I subbed up, and Lib. Is that the right name of the channel? Right, because he's got his radio thing. So, but yeah, I was in Trucker John's live chat the other night, and I was telling people in the chat how my stuff had gotten translated to Russian, and they were like, well, can't you undo it? And I was like, no, I can't. You would think you, and yeah, I mean, I even tried it live with you guys here, like powering down and powering back up. It didn't help it. But thanks so much for reminding me, Josh. You're awesome. I appreciate your viewership and subbing up. That's really cool. You are good and funny and smart. People like to listen to you. Well, I try to just be myself, which might not be the most YouTubing type of thing. You know, like I'm not like, I don't like package and sell my ideas the way I should if I wanted to have a whole lot of viewers. And I do want to have a reach. I want to have an influence, but I just want to be myself. I think that's the most important thing is to not like put on a show, you know. I mean, it is a show, but you know what I mean. I speaketh from the heart. I try to come on with ideas about what I want to talk about, but just to be really spontaneous. Like I never want to be scripted. When I first started doing this, I would script my stuff, and I thought that I needed to because I just get like, I don't know, stage fright and forget everything. But you know, if I do get stage fright and forget everything, I just roll with it. Maybe it was Trucker John. Yeah, I think it was. But yeah, thanks for reminding me of Liberal Dan, because his stuff is really good too. And yeah, I look for channels that I feel like are what I just described, like people who are just being really authentic and just being themselves. And you know, some of those people like Katie Fang are huge, you know, like they're just doing their thing. I think that like Adam Mockler and Luke Beasley and Jack Cocciarella, they're all just doing their thing. Like they might be a little bit scripted, like they definitely have like production crews, but I think they shoot from the hip a lot. And I just think that's the best thing we can do. I think that's like a gift that we're giving to other people, just to like be authentic. Like, yeah, we don't need anything canned. But sometimes I feel like it's hard to find that kind of authenticity too. I don't know. Like the I've Had It chicks, like they're so freaking awesome. And the hysteria chicks, I love those hysteria chicks. They're completely scripted, but they script it themselves, and they're sharp as tacks. They are so freaking good. And they have people helping them too. They have like support staff, but they write their own stuff. The hysteria chicks, and you know, like Becca Day. I'm kind of new to her, and she's really good. I mean, there's so many great content creators, but sometimes it feels like it's hard to find the right stuff, which is why I started my channel, because I felt like nobody was talking about the things with the Kylie Rodney case that I was looking for. So I was like, I guess I just have to start my own channel because people aren't saying these things that need to be said. And I don't know why. So I started my channel, I started saying them, and the rest is history, right? Then it sounded too fast and I couldn't understand. I know, it's nuts. They both have a lot of the same audience. Yeah, and from like Boston Brian, who I also love, and Hal Sparks, who I also love. Christopher Titus and his wife, is her name Rachel? They're so good. They're so good. Lewis Black, he's an old favorite. He's been hitting them out of the ballpark recently. And, you know, I mean, I'm just a huge fan of Jon Stewart and The Daily Show and all of the people on The Daily Show. But all of the comedy, like, we need the comedy, don't we? I haven't been funny enough tonight, and I apologize for that. I'll try. I'm not a very good comedian. I screw up every joke that I tell. It's just when you watch it that's so weird. Yeah, it is. It's just when I watch it on my devices that are connected to my JusticeAtooZ account. So, you're genuine. Aw, thanks, sweetie. Absolutely. Stay genuine and honest. And that's what I realized as soon as I started my channel. Like, as soon as I started, I was like, there's nothing I can do. Like, if I'm not speaking from the heart, I don't have a damn thing to say. So, I don't know how people do it. Honestly, I don't know how people can be like fake and bullshit, because it's like, what a waste. Like, why take up oxygen if you're going to do that? It might be a software update required for your devices to fix the language. No, because some of the videos are fine, Billy. And some of the political videos are fine, like the Midas Touch. The first ones I noticed were the I've Had It and Mary Trump Media. So I thought that was very telling that it was Mary Trump Media. You know, it's the stuff that like hits President Pond Scum right between the eyes. And Midas Touch does too, but I guess they're just probably scared of them or something. I don't know. I don't know why Midas Touch hasn't been touched. Well, I'm delighted to have found your channel. Oh, you're the sweetest. See, now I don't want to end the video. But I always want to apologize for the wax on my teeth. You guys, I take the wax off like every 24 hours to eat solid food. I have not taken the wax off or eaten solid food in like 2 days. And I do that sometimes. I still get calories and nourishment. I'm not like withering away or anything, but it's such a job to take the wax off and to put it back on again. And once it's like in exactly the right place that I can talk without talking funny, and, you know, I mean, you know how it is. I'm always complaining. I haven't put my fingers in my mouth once this video, and it's been, what, 2 hours? No fingers in the mouth. I don't think I go 2 hours in a day without putting my fingers in my mouth usually. So that's exciting. Anyway, you guys, 61 days, I think, until I get my braces off. September 1st, I do believe. So I'm delighted that you have found my channel too, JusticeAtooZ. And Annabise is back. She was here at the beginning. And I watched the iHip girls. They are so good. Pumps and Jennifer Welch. They're so good. I mean, Pumps is an attorney, and Jennifer Welch is an interior designer married to an attorney. And her husband is really good too. He comes on sometimes. You know, they live in separate states right now because she's doing the New York City thing and he's still back in Oklahoma. But he comes to visit her and accompanies her on her show sometimes. He's great. He's really good. They're a cute couple. I think both Pumps and Jennifer have been married and divorced. I don't know if Pumps is remarried. I think this is Jennifer's second marriage. Yes, Titus is brilliant. I know, and he's coming to Ohio at the end of the month. I was looking up the tickets, and he's playing in Dayton at the Funny Bone at the end of July. And the cheapest tickets, I think, were 80 something. So it ain't cheap. And that's probably without the fees. Like once you order the tickets, then you start getting hit with fees, and then you're up to 120. Because that's what happened. Like the whole family went to see Josh Johnson in Cincinnati a couple of years ago. and that was a lot of fun, but it was so expensive. We have 4 kids, and it was 3 of the kids that went, so 5 of us. And so it was like over $500 just for one night of comedy. And we made it like birthday presents for what my husband and my daughter, because their birthdays are both at the end of March, and it was around the end of March, so we like called it the birthday celebration. My husband's is mid-March, and my oldest daughter's is late March. But yeah, Titus is so smart, and his wife Rachel, she's really good too. She's really good. I'm in IT, so now I'm all curious. Sorry, lovely. That's right. I forgot you were in IT, Billy. So should I send you my devices? Do you want to come visit? See if you can fix them. VPN. Yeah, there you go. That's what I need. Yeah, use Proton VPN. You know what? I will. I'll get my IT department on it. I think you just have to wipe your cache cookies on your browsers. But see, it's not doing it to all my videos. Like, there's plenty of videos that I can watch that are still in English. Yes, it's not far away. I don't know you. It's in German. So weird. Oh, you think it's in German? Oh, and where's Nancy? I know, and they were bringing Nancy Guthrie up again, and that's bothering me too, because I feel like, again, with the distraction. And I think the Nancy Guthrie is so connected to the Trumpstein files. I think she went missing the day after the 3.5 million pages of files were dropped. I think the files were dropped on January 30th. She went missing on the 31st. And Savannah had just had that surgery. She'd just been off of her television show. Is it like, I think it's the Today Show? She'd taken like a month off for medical leave. She'd just come back on. But what's most important about Savannah Guthrie and her contentious interactions with President Ponscum, what's most relevant is that she not only interviewed a whole bunch of Trumpstein survivors, she did an in-depth expose with Virginia Giuffre that got nixed like the day before or the day of the airing. That was a couple of years ago, and Virginia Giuffre wrote about that in her book. So her and Savannah Guthrie had interviewed extensively. It was a deep dive, maybe for 60 minutes. I'm not sure what, I think it was 60 minutes. And isn't that the same channel that was the one that they canceled that deep dive about the El Salvadorian ICE detention center when Barry Weiss came in? And CBS, it's some serious effery. And so I don't think that interviewing with Savannah Guthrie and Virginia Giuffre ever got seen. Did Savannah Guthrie's in-depth interviews of Virginia Giuffre ever go public? See what it says. Yes. Savannah Guthrie's in-depth interview with Virginia Giuffre did go public. It originally aired on September 20th, 2019 as an exclusive investigative special on Dateline NBC titled Reckoning. In this landmark broadcast, Dufresne gave her first extensive television interview to discuss her time as a victim of Jeffrey Epstein. She detailed her claims of being transported and abused and directly accused Little E, Jizz, and Prince Andrew. And so she also accused President Scum and Alan Dershowitz. And her and Alan Dershowitz were in litigation for years. And President Scum, she said, was that the one that she said she must have been mistaken? Or was it with Dershowitz that she said she must have mistaken him for somebody else? But she recanted her statements about President Scum. She also recanted her statements about Dershowitz. But yeah, so then it was 6 years ago that Savannah Guthrie sat down with 6 women who alleged the assaults from Little E. But Little E and Little T go hand in hand. Like, you can't have one without the other. What was that great saying? I took a screenshot of it. It's like Bert and Ernie saying that they didn't really know each other, that they were just like on the same scene, on the same Sesame Street show a few times. Like, let me look at my screenshots. I think I have it here. It was really funny. This is what Google said about it. Okay. I asked something like Bert saying that Ernie was just an acquaintance in the same scene from Sesame Street back in the day. Google said, it is a good spot-on comparison, just like Bert and Ernie living in the exact same apartment. Donald Trump, this is Google, and Jeffrey Epstein were heavily documented mingling at the exact same events, attending and hosting parties together and flying on private planes. These parties were things like Calendar Girls, where those two would be the only dudes. Remember? That was a normal thing, and that would be going on at Mar-a-Lago. It's probably still happening today at Mar-a-Lago. The visual of Bert trying to claim he barely knows his famous roommate perfectly mirrors how Trump handles their long history. Public photos and archive footage show the two laughing as close friends for years, making any attempt to dismiss him as just a casual acquaintance highly absurd. That's freaking Google. That is sharp and hilarious. That is a sharp and hilarious comparison. The visual, this is kind of repetitive, but I'm going to keep reading it, and then I'm going to get caught up with your comments too. The visual of Bert trying to claim Ernie, his literal roommate and constant companion in almost every single scene, was just a casual acquaintance, perfectly captures why so many people find those political denials so hard to believe. Why the analogy works. Again, this is AI. Constant proximity. Just like Bert and Ernie sharing a bedroom, Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were repeatedly photographed and filmed together at social events over several decades. The roommate dynamic, claiming a well-documented associate was just a passing acquaintance, strains public credibility in the exact same way. Would you like to explore more political satire from late night comedy or look into documented history from their actual public interactions? Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so Billy says, and where's Nancy? Annabelle said Nancy Guthrie. Sorry, I'm like 10 minutes behind here. Yes, Nancy Guthrie. The news says she's passed since the first 24 hours. And Billy says the fake notes, right? The ransom notes. Exactly. A distraction. I think it's inside job over money, but hope for justice and the truth to prevail. See, I think it was revenge for Savannah crossing President Ponscom. The 113-year-old is making noise. Yes, she is. And so is that woman that was 23 that said that she was assaulted. It sounded like she was raped by Donald and Jeffrey on the same day when she was at a modeling gig. I know she was attacked by both of them. I think she was raped by both of them at separate times on the same day. Whereas the 13-year-old was in the room with the two of them together, I think. I want him in prison, not in a hospital. Ugh. Right. He'll just claim dementia if it comes to that. Josh says everything is a distraction, flooding the zone. Exactly. Exactly. Like Steve Bannon is in the Trumpstein files too. Like he's a disgusting piece of crap too. He's the flood the zone guy and he's the Trumpstein dude. And just what happened to little E. I want a trial and witnesses and discovery and all of them to go to prison. And I want it before something horrible happens to Maria Farmer. I mean, she's been battling cancer for the third time and she's having a tough go. I want her to have some freaking justice before, God forbid, she passes away. I mean, it started when she was 25 and it's been more than half of her life. I mean, it's sad for like E.G. and Carol too, spending the last 30 years of her life dealing with this. Plus, E.G. and Carol has not had an intimate relationship since that day. Not that that was an intimate relationship by any stretch. By any stretch. Hate to say it, but maybe Nancy's housekeeper. The housekeeper did it. It's like a game of Clue, Annabes. Oh, I meant the regime all to go to prison, but them too if they guilty. That'd be a start, Josh says. All thugs for prison. Agreed, Billy. Yeah, let's put them in the freaking ICE detention centers. How about that? Like Alligator Alcatraz for the Trumpstein thugs. I want accountability and justice. Yes. And free healthcare. We're like the only major country in the world that doesn't have healthcare covered, Billy. You probably know this. I did not know this until like a week or two ago. WTF, man. It'd be lovely irony if they funded their own prisons. That would be the best. That would be the best. I know, right, Josh? Well, we already paid for it. So the cities fund the countrysides. I do need to wrap up too. It's getting so late. And here we are at like almost 2.5 hours. If they charge tax per acre, not per building, then we could all afford to live a life. Ew, I saw Howard Lutnick with the owner FIFA today on TV. Did you guys see the freaking FIFA statue? The Argentinian soccer star, they made that giant statue of him with the FIFA award at his crotch, and he's like squatting, and it is absurd, and it can't be accidental. It can't be. It's insane. It's gross. It's sort of like the horse in Denver at the airport. It's that bad. It's demonic, in my opinion. Yeah, Howard Lutnick's freaking demonic. such a bald-faced liar. We should start referring to Lutnick as Epstein's neighbor. He's just the neighbor. Oh, man. Ew, Howie Lutnick. And Buttlick. Yeah, that's a good one. I usually call him Nutlick, but I like Buttlick too. That's gross. FIFA owner is wannabe billionaire. Josh, good idea. I hate his name. We have always been at war with Oceania class wars. I can't stand his smirking face. Yeah, all these mofos do a lot of smug looking at the cameras. Absolutely. They've got smugness all over them. Yes, the farmer girls need justice. Yeah, Annie and Maria. So, the photographs that Maria complained that Jeffrey stole and sold. He stole photographs that she took of Annie when Annie was like 15. And then there's a younger sister that they do a really good job of protecting. She was like 12. And there are pictures that Maria took of her too. And I think that they're nudes. If not nudes, they're mostly nudes. Like almost nude, if not nude. But probably nudes because that's what artists work from to get body contour and things. And the photographs were stolen. Not only the photographs, but the negatives were stolen by Little E too. And he sold them to people. And Maria complained to the feds, and it's documented, and they tried to say that it wasn't. So that was huge for that to have resurfaced in recent months. That was a huge win. Like, that made the farmer girls cry, just to see the documentation that they knew existed, that for 30 years they were told they were gaslit. Nope, it never happened. If it happened, we'd have the documents, and they don't exist. So therefore, you're wrong. I would love the Trumpstein criminals need to go to Alligator Alcatraz Nuremberg trial time. I know. When? Like why? I don't understand why the Hague doesn't step in with these war crimes. Like, is something corrupt going on with the Hague too? I really don't understand. I'm completely perplexed. No, I didn't see the statue. We were watching US versus Bosnia. So I'll just pull it up real quick, and then I do need to wrap up. It's like 1:45. Okay. Argentinian soccer statue. Wait, I hit the wrong thing. Argentinian soccer statue with the FIFA award. Are you ready? This is crazy. Well, it doesn't look okay. This is what it looks like. Can you see that? He's squatting down, and there's the FIFA award. Pretty, huh? That's the real statue. I'll try to get it from a different angle. Here you go. Can you seize it? You can't make this crap up, can you? You cannot make this crap up. That's the same image, but it might come in more clear. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh my God, this is what it looks like from behind. Can you see with the glare? That's what it looks like from behind. Like, it's almost worse from behind. Holy crap, man. This is a slightly different angle, but it is just bad, rude, perverted. Yeah, totally by accident. No, we weren't trying. No, that's not. There's zero plausible deniability in that. Absolutely zero. I think I've showed you guys enough. Have you seen enough? Do you want more? It's bad. It's mostly the same shots again and again. Here we go. This is from a slightly different angle. It's kind of like from above. Sorry. No, I didn't see the statue. We were watching US versus Bosnia. CLs are thugs and get to do crimes with impunity for an alleged higher fish. Ugh, oh dear, Josh. Yeah, it's embarrassing to your gender, isn't it? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be. I feel like showing it is like sexual harassment right there. My goodness. Yeah, not a good look. I've seen internet today. Geez, Annabee says it's really bad. It is. And I am sorry that I need to wrap up because I could just talk to you folks all night long. This was fun. Thanks so much for hanging. And I've got my hat from Patricia. Josh, if you don't know Roman numerology, which I wouldn't know either, this says 47 on the bottom and it says 86 on the top. Ha! Do the math, baby. And so one of my regular viewers sent me this hat and I wear it pretty much nonstop, whether I'm making a live or not. So I'm going to sign off quickly since I keep saying I'm gonna and I don't do it. So love you guys. Thanks a million. Don't forget to hit the like button on the way out. Have a great night. Drink your water, eat your protein, and look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you, Josh. It's awesome to have you hang out with us. Totally a gift. Thanks, you guys. And end stream. You're the bomb. Love you guys.